Apple Computer, one of the greatest bull runs in history, as it's proven to be the superpower of the world. What a parabolic, great bull move. And as we said last week, it got to a point where it got so overbought. You can see here where it got overbought up here at that first pass right below 550, and it dropped all the way down here in this long wick. Here, let's get the last couple of weeks. So here, let's zoom in right here on this part of the chart of where this move started. You can see that this weekly wick and over here where we got down in this, where we bounced and made these all-time highs right to that 600 handle. Now, having said all of that, we are going to go over here and we're going to monitor this $600 put, number one, on a weekly level. We're going to monitor the 590, of course, and we're going to monitor right at the 585 and what's below here. And not only that, we're going to show you how bloated that the monthly calls were, but we're going to run the weeklies and we're going to run some of the monthlies in April. And when you start at where the call contracts, this is a put side I'm going to do first, though. It's a $600 put that they had marked down. Believe this, and we've never seen this in Apple before, but look at how low that put got to $26 for April and had a huge move off of the bottom. My point of it is that, look at, Apple's the greatest company in the world, and the puts were at $100. I'm sorry. They are in deflated versus inflated. Calls are inflated, puts are deflated. So we're going to be watching that 600 for April. So let's put in April 600 MMT. We're going to burn that 595 for April. We're going to have that 585, and we're going to have the 580 all April. Now, on the flip side, we're going to show you where that call was. Here's what happens in all of them. The calls got so high in value, so inflated on that call side, you have to come down. Granted, it was a great move. However, I got to tell you, when they get inflated, that's when we look at taking the other side of the market. Not because it's a bad stock or anything like that. It's just the fact that, I'm sorry, as a master in calls and puts, you got to know where the mathematical inflated and deflated ratios are on both sides of the market. And at some point, they got right up here at the high and they came down. And that's at April 600. Let me just show you some other strike prices, MMTs. Here's that 595 April call that it too got straight up at the highs. Look at it. They get inflated, but still, look at inflated calls have to have shakeouts, and it lived up to its word last week. Here, let's take a look at the 585. They all look the same. That's a 585 call right here, deep in the money. But when you go back and you take a look, now the weekly, they're only been written for 1 week. So we're going to be watching what this weekly looked like. Got to $7. The high was 19. So here is a weekly 585. And that 585 weekly will even go down as far as the 575. And we will trade near the strike prices for the weekly. And as Apple puts in its all-time highs, we're going to look at also, let's say that it comes down and gets support on Apple. We'll take a look at what was in the money of the 575 call. This is a call bar. It was up here at 32. You can see where the low was, $18 to $32 now. And we're going to monitor that because we would be buying the bull side of the call side on great pullbacks. And we'll throw that March 580 call in there. And we can show you that the weekly's a weekly. Of course, the weekly's just for like making a market with. But weeklies and monthlies trade totally different. These are $14 on the low, and they got them up here to 26. So there's some ranges now in the name. Once again, these are going to be the call and the put strategy. We've had our first $600 target right here on the NAT, and we have pulled back a little bit. Every pullback and every lower dip will be buyable on the bull side. And at some point, as we move through the rest of March and April and May, we're going to get where Apple will trade like Apple normally does. And that the majority of the crowd are usually wrong up at the high when they should have been buying over here when we were at the bottoms, okay? And you've gone parabolically up, and every bull run, great bull runs have great pullbacks to support levels. Once again, the call and put strategy for the weekly and the calendar month of April are in here at all various put prices that are deflated, and we'll watch some of the call side now. The call side is to buy the bounces intraday. But once again, once this thing does correct, it will be the all-time bull as it is today, and how to trade the calls and the puts. Remember that Apple's a great stock. But intraday, it makes a lot of money on both sides of the market, and we cover it. And parabolically up have pullbacks and bulls. So we'd love to see this thing pull back to 550 in here, right across here, shake out the buyers, pull this thing back in here, 555, 560 area. And we're only working with this part of the bar. So let's get that straight. Let's work with that 560 area of the bar. That's that 570 part of it, and here's the lower end of it right there. And there's the top body part of the bar at 585. And there's that sell up at that 600 level. Okay? And we'll be monitoring the weekly expiration coming up and forward looking. Just remember, what goes parabolically up in bulls have to come back and test like they do. We've nailed it a few times. We're going to look at it. Bull chart, Apple Computer, call and put strategy moving forward weekly and monthly April.